President, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests and friends, good evening and welcome to the 47th Annual Glenview Civic Awards. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and posting of the colors by the American Legion Post 166 Color Guard, followed by the National Anthem sung by the Glenview Community Church Pilgrim Chorus.
The colors will be advanced by two of our past post commanders, Wayne Carley and Stephen B. Girth. Hand salute.
Order, colors. Right, face. Present, colors.
Uncover. We'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag, and I know this group doesn't have to be reminded there is no comma after nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now our national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Chew.
Pulse, colors. Post. Colors. Salute. Right mouth face. Recover. March.
My name is Wayne Globerger. I am the fire chief for the village of Glenview. That is my privilege. Oh, this might be easier than I thought. But it is my honor to be the MC again tonight for the 47th Annual Civic Awards. While this is the 47th Annual Civic Awards, this is my 6th as serving as MC. For transparency, because that's what the village is about, I must say that this is the first year that the MC fee was increased. But I paid it anyway. I mean, really, how else do you think they'd let me do this? What a great day to hold this wonderful event. It was sunny out all day. It was near 70 degrees, a nice breeze. It's been almost 24 hours since the Cubs lost. But that's changed now, too, because guess who's losing to Milwaukee? I do have a suggestion before I start for the planning committee. I'm going to say what everybody's thinking. Really just two words, and we've already kind of touched on this. Blackhawks playoffs. This is, once again, scheduled on a night where the Hawks are playing. But I have a solution. Let's move this event to October because there's very little chance of it interrupting any Chicago sports team in a playoff. Just a suggestion. I'm with you. I feel you, brother. I didn't say names, but the dictionary defines community as a group of interacting people living in a common location. The dictionary also defines a village as a settlement, usually larger than a hamlet, smaller than a town, or the second definition is simply a unit of local government. Both definitions are factually accurate, but they are cold and clinical, and they do not elicit any emotional response or add any real context when applied with the two words. In my opinion, those definitions do not reflect the true meaning of the word community or the word village. It's not until you add terms like values, families, neighbors, way of life, pride, and home that you start to get to what the true meaning is. Include more descriptive terms like belonging, stewardship, commitment, and caring, and you finally start to get close to the definition that truly captures the meaning of community and of a village. All that being said, Glenview is clearly a fine community and an excellent village. This is evidenced through its residents and businesses, its employees, its elected leaders. It's evidenced further through its active service clubs, its volunteers, its excellent school districts, its outstanding park district, its wonderful library. There you go. And it can be seen in its rich history and its bright and promising future. The Glenview Civic Awards, where we recognize people who made a difference, were conceived by Police Chief Bartlett and have been sustained by the efforts of so many in the last 47 years. It is also evidence that Glenview is a fine community and a great village by the fullest of definitions. Winston Churchill said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." If Sir Churchill was right, then those being honored here tonight, and several others of you that fill this room, have all made a fine life for yourselves. So with that, let's get started. We are here to recognize and honor recipients for the following awards: Public Service, Ginny Hurst; Public Safety, Melinda Dragovich, Bonnie Henning; and Kirsten Stiglitz. Youth of the Year, Charlie Castelli. Citizen of the Year, Bob Anthony. And Special Committee Awards, Carrie Cummings and Mary Bach. I ask for a round of applause for all our worthy recipients. I'd like to thank the service clubs for their strong support on this noteworthy night. Please be recognized when I call your name of your club. American Legion, Post 166. The Chamber of Commerce, our host club for this evening. Glenview Lions Club. Glenview Women of Today. Kiwanis Club of Glenview and Northbrook. Navy League Glenview Council. The Optimist Club of Glenview. Wow. Rotary Club of Glenview Luncheon. Rotary Club of Glenview Sunrise. I also would like to take time to thank the village and state officials, past and present, for attending and showing their support to this wonderful event. I'd like to thank Linda Kimball and Kevin Christel for their exceptional pride, passion, and dedication for this event over these many years. I'd like to thank Reverend Warskow, for the invocation. Is he still here? Sorry. Feel free to butcher Globerger anytime you want. The volunteer crew of the GVTV and the Glenview Journal photographer. The American Legion Post 166 Color Guard. As always, thank you, gentlemen. The Glenview Community Church Pilgrim Chorus. The Chamber for being our host club this evening. And as always, which is never written down for me, and I have to add that, is Sandy Elliott. Without her hard work and commitment, this wouldn't happen. And now, for the Special Committee Awards, I'd like to introduce Linda Kimball.
Good evening. On behalf of Kevin Christel and myself, we are co-chairs of the Glenview Civic Awards. I want to welcome you all here this evening. It is so wonderful to see all of you. I would like, before I begin my part of this presentation, I would like to thank Jim Patterson, our village president. It's a delight to be working with him. This is his first year with us, and we're delighted that he's part of this event. We too want to thank Wayne Globerger for being 6 years. Oh my God. He has been the MC for 6 years, and he is such a delight to work with, and we are just so delighted that he will continue doing this for us. I want to thank members of our committee, Lynn Stiefel, the Director of Communications for the Village of Glenview, who was, there she is in the back, and Betsy Bayer, the Executive Director of Glenview's Chamber of Commerce, for serving on our committee. And I have to echo Wayne Globerger's thanks to Sandy Elliott. Sandy has been helping out. She's been really instrumental in doing so much for the Civic Awards for the past 17 years. And we could not do it without her. I've had the pleasure of working with her for the past 16, so it's wonderful. She's really the heart and soul of all of this, so we thank her for everything that she does. I'm not going to recognize everyone again, although Kevin and I do want to thank especially Ralph and Judy Lynch. They are our sponsors here at North Shore Country Club. Ralph and Judy, thank you very much. We want to thank Lucy Lanuski, who's the catering manager here at North Shore Country Club. She and her staff do, and I think you can all attest to it, an amazing job. And Lucy is so wonderful to work with, so we thank Lucy and all of her staff. We thank American Legion Post 166 for, again, doing the colors. We think that adds a real special touch to the evening, as does Glenview Church's Pilgrim Chorus singing the national anthem. So we hope to continue having them in the future. We, of course, thank Bob Borskow for giving the invocation, the television crew, Todd Wessel from Journal and Topics, and again, thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for being our host club this evening. Now, Kevin and I would like to present the Special Committee Awards. As you are aware, the Civic Awards Selection Committee is comprised of one member of each sponsoring organization in Glenview, 8 service clubs, and the Chamber of Commerce, and they have one person from each of their organizations sit on the selection committee. It is their task to choose a Citizen of the Year, a Youth of the Year, someone or many to receive the Public Safety Award or Public Service Award. And they have done it admirably this year. But additionally, they have the ability to choose people for a special recognition, the Special Committee Award. And to fit into that category, the recipient must have made a significant difference in the Village of Glenview. The recipient must be respected by the Village of Glenview, by the business community. The recipient must have contributed to the village in a unique manner, and the recipient would preferably work or reside in Glenview. This year, the selection committee has chosen to honor 2 women with special committee awards, to Carrie Cummings and to Mary Bach. The first one will be presented to Carrie Cummings. Carrie, if I could ask you to come up to the podium, please. The criteria that I mentioned for a special committee award has not only been met but exceeded by Carrie Cummings. She's contributed her time, energy, and expertise in a most unique manner and has made a positive and long-lasting impact on the lives of so many people in Glenview, so many residents, and so many visitors. Carrie served on the village board from April 2003 until May 2013, 2 years as a village trustee and 8 years as our village president. During her tenure as village president, the village board took on a number of actions to promote and preserve Glenview's natural area and resources, often working cooperatively with the Glenview Park District. Some examples are saving and restoring the 32-acre Kent Fuller Air Station Prairie, building the Evelyn P. Steiner Interpretive Center, developing the 140-acre Gallery Park, adopting a plan for nature in Glenview, which served as the official guide for natural resource planning and was made part of the village's comprehensive plan, and also developing the Go Green Glenview program, which promotes recycling and awards businesses for implementing sustainable practices. Other examples of efforts accomplished by Carrie and the village board during her leadership are adopting a major downtown plan which encourages revitalization of the central business district, developing a municipality partnership initiative, enabling about 24 municipalities to jointly purchase and share services, resulting in taxpayer savings, and adopting a flood risk reduction program, which identified and set flood control project priorities. As village president, Carrie worked closely with Glenview school districts and with the Glenview Library to ensure their continued quality, vibrancy, and viability. Additionally, through the development of formal financial policies, a structural balanced budget, and careful fiscal management, the village was able to maintain healthy reserves and avoid annual property tax increases during her leadership. During her tenure as village president, Carrie was known to promote dialogue among community residents in an open and caring manner, to promote healthy debate on visions and ideas for communities, and to encourage community residents to work together and to achieve established goals. Because of Carrie Cummings' history of leadership and unwavering dedication to the betterment and beautification of the Glenview community, the Civic Awards Committee would like to honor her with a special committee award this evening. Carrie, I'd like to present you with a plaque. Thank you. And it reads, the 2013 Special Committee Award is presented to Carrie Cummings in recognition of 8 years of distinguished service as president of the village, 2 years of distinguished service as the Glenview Village trustee, selfless dedication to the betterment of Glenview, fostering intergovernmental cooperation with the Village of Glenview, the Glenview Park District, the Glenview Library, and the Glenview School Districts, and consistent devotion to preserving natural resources through a plan for nature and the Go Green Glenview project, which impacts the lives of people throughout the village. And finally, your tireless work that has made our community a better place to live, work, and play. This special committee award is given with sincere gratitude from the service organizations and the citizens of the village of Glenview. I'll hold it for you.
Thank you so much, Linda. I really want to thank the Civic Awards Committee and all the service clubs for this special recognition tonight. It is really an honor to be among the recipients. There are so many outstanding citizens that are being recognized tonight, and that's a real honor for me to be among them. I don't often get an opportunity to do this publicly, but I do want to thank my husband, Rick. Thank you. Really, to work at this, his support and encouragement was really instrumental in helping me in this leadership role. And he himself is an avid volunteer. He's very active in the Boy Scouting and was very active during the time that we were both doing this. So our children were also very supportive of both of us in our endeavors. So thank you for that. But the other piece is I just had an outstanding board of trustees, and some of whom are here tonight, but you really can't get that type of work done unless you have the work of an outstanding board who lends their expertise to the village. They share ideas, they challenge each other. We come out with the best solutions because of that open dialogue and because everybody was open and willing to challenge one another to bigger and better things. So really the thank you goes to a hardworking village board, to a fantastic staff headed up by just an outstanding village manager, Todd Heilman. I don't think this village can really appreciate what Todd has done and what he has brought to this community. He is the highest professional quality and sought after throughout the country for his ideas and his thinking. So really, it's such a team effort. But all of us, I think Reverend Roscoe spoke to this. We all get here, we're all volunteers, we're all part and contributing to this community. But we're able to do that because we build on such solid foundation of the people who came before us. I think of things like the Values Project that Bill Attia and Chief Kelly put together that brought together that cooperative spirit to tackle some of the problems and issues in our community, and that still goes forward today. I think of the Frog and Fern ladies who started out and got this community behind protecting our natural resources. And certainly Kent Fuller here is part of all that movement, and Judy Beck and Henrietta Saunders carries that forward. We work with collaborative boards, the park district, the school district, the library. We work together to get things done for the community. So this is a place that really fosters that cooperation. It's really something that I was fortunate to inherit, all of that wonderful work that went before us and an opportunity to build. So thank you to you all. Thank you all for making this such a great community.
And now Kevin Christel will present the award to Mary Bach.
Mary, come on up. Do we have an update on the Hawks score? Okay, 2-1 Hawks. At the end of two. All right.
Life is good.
I'm used to seeing Mary walk her dog down the street in front of my house, so known Mary for a long, long time. Mary began her 28-year career with the Village of Glenview in 1985. As the Village of Glenview experienced tremendous growth during this time, Mary played a huge role. Sometimes she led the growth, sometimes she shaped the growth, but she always was instrumental in making Glenview the vibrant and progressive village that we all know today. As a frequent viewer of Glenview Channel 17, I was amazed by the endless hours of village board meetings. Mary was always there and always in attendance. She provided the board with background information and research for trustee consideration. She provided recommendations for important and complicated issues and answered endless questions by the various boards that she served over 28 years. This weekend, take some time, drive around the village. Mary's fingerprints are all over it. Some of the projects took a considerable time to develop. Revitalization of Glenview, downtown Glenview is one of those, but her tireless efforts working on zoning regulations, the downtown master plan, have led to the large residential development in the 1800 block of Glenview Road and the new Heinen Shopping grocery store. Drive by the former Avon warehouse at Gulf and Waukegan, which is now under development. Cross from southeast to northwest Glenview and the former Culligan headquarters at Sanders and Willow are taking shape. Go to the west side and see the Milwaukee Avenue corridor, where the Wyndham Hotel, Apt Electronics, Aeon, and the Community Park West are all located. Not done. Go back to the northeast and you find the southwest corner of Waukegan and Willow Road is an area with Heatherfield development and the North Shore Corporate Park. But throughout all that development and all the years that Mary has worked in this village, nothing compares to the redevelopment of the Glenview Naval Air Station. Consider all the sensitive issues and the balancing of all the community interests at stake at that development. And if you look at it today, you marvel at how that whole place was developed. And Mary didn't do it by herself, but Mary had a huge impact on all these developments and spent hours and hours and hours of research and commitment to this community to see that we have such a wonderful community. From the beginning, when Mary was Glenview's first Director of Development in 1985, to her title of Director of Planning and Economic Development when she completed her career in Glenview, Mary has been instrumental and essential part of Glenview's growth, stability, and prosperity. And this is why the Civic Awards Committee has awarded Mary Bach with a special committee award. Mary? I'm going to read Mary's plaque. These are longer than I remember. 2013 Special Committee Award presented to Mary Bach in recognition of 28 years of distinguished service overseeing the planning and economic development efforts for the Village of Glenview, and dedication to the revitalization of downtown Glenview and involvement in the creation of the downtown master plan and the form-based zoning code, and leadership in the revision of the municipal code and the development of the village comprehensive plan, and a major role in Glenview Naval Air Station's transformation to the Glen, and tireless work that has made our community a better place to live, work, and play. This special committee award is given with sincere gratitude from the service organizations and citizens of Glenview, Illinois, presented this 25th day of April, 2014. Congratulations.
Thank you very much to the committee that saw fit to award a special committee award to myself, and as Kevin suggested, I'm really accepting this award on behalf of all of the development team that we had over the 28 years. Tremendous staff, committed staff, passionate about what they were doing for the village, and the volunteers in the commissions, the volunteers really at the board level, they're compensated slightly, but never for the amount of time and effort and initiative and ideas that they brought to make Glenview the quality community that we love and that we want to give more to. So in that response, I take pleasure in accepting this award on behalf of all of the people that stand behind the development in Glenview that you enjoy today and will in the future. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Well, for the first time in his career as president of Glenview, President James Patterson will now present the awards for this evening. Jim?
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening, and thank you for the opportunity to serve the village of Glenview. You know, I had the pleasure of sitting next to Mr. and Mrs. Koenig, and I don't know how many of you realize it, and I don't think he cares, but he's 93. They met when they were 15 in Sunday school, and they've been married for 71 years. So when you listen to the chief speak about community and the fact that they've been here, I mean, they go away for a few months in the winter, but that, you know, the family, the community, the fact that they're here, and some of their kids are here, I mean, that is a real compliment to this community. It's a compliment to the likes of Carrie and Mary and what they have worked to put together all these years. So with that, I would like to ask Ginny Hurst to please come up here. Hi. Hello again.
Hello again.
We talk a lot about how we depend on residents and workers in Glenview to be the eyes and ears of the community. Ginny Hurst had our back on February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2013. Ginny was working at the customer service desk of the former Dominick's store in the Glen, now a Jewel-Osco, when a woman told her she needed to send $1,800 to provide bond money for her grandson, who she thought had been arrested for drug possession. Ginny's red flag went up. She asked some questions and learned that a man representing himself as a police officer had called the woman, told her to get the cash, take it to the nearest Western Union, which was located at the grocery store, and send it to an international bond company in Lima, Peru. More red flags were waving. Ginny recognized the story as that of a con and advised the woman that she was being scammed. The victim called her grandson and learned he was fine and had not been arrested. Had it not been for Ginny's attention to detail, concern, and prompt action, the resident would have succumbed to the con and lost $1,800 to the grandparent scam. Police Chief William Fitzpatrick wrote in his nomination letter, "Unbeknownst to Ginny at that time, she was giving direct support by aiding the police in the prevention of a crime. Ginny takes customer service and care to a new level with higher standards." Sadly, Ginny has said she and her co-workers often stop residents, often elderly, who are victimized by this and similar scams. We're grateful that they do and recognize all of them through Ginny tonight. Ginny, thank you.
Thank you.
This award.
Very nice.
Right here. Here. And one more thing, we also have a State of Illinois Senate recognition. The Illinois Senate of the 98th General Assembly of the State of Illinois acknowledges Ginny Hurst in the recognition of receiving the Public Service Award at the 2013 Glenview Civic Awards event, and extends its congratulations and best wishes on receiving this honor, and further commends her for continued commitment to community service, offered by Senator Daniel Biss and signed by Senator John Cullerton and Secretary of State of the Senate, Tim Anderson.
Thank you. As I've said to everybody, I really feel like this is a pretty minuscule thing that I did in order to receive an award. Some people do great things like building villages, and some of us got created to just help grandparents out, but really it's just a good opportunity for people to spread the word about the Western Union fraud that's out there, because too many people just succumb to it. So thanks, everybody.
Next, I would like to ask that Melinda Dragovich, Bonnie Henning, and Kirsten Stiglitz please come up. Ladies, good evening. The Village of Glenview doesn't have any dispatchers. The dedicated employees who answer calls from people who need assistance and determine how to best respond are known as telecommunicators. The three recipients of the 2013 Glenview Public Safety Award prove why telecommunicator is such an appropriate descriptor. On the cold, rainy night of January 12th, 2013, an emergency caller to the Glenview Public Safety Dispatch Center hung up without providing any information and didn't answer a call back. Melinda, Bonnie, and Kirsten then worked with the cell phone provider to ping the call. That is, find the location of the phone geographically. While that was going on, phone contact was made with the disoriented woman, who only knew she was lying next to a pole by a white fence and could see a street sign with 3 letters and another sign with the word park. She was cold and losing feeling in her hands and feet. As I see a doctor look at me, he knows all the symptoms. From all the information gathered by the telecommunicators, police officers located the woman at the corner of Glenview Road and Glen Air Drive. She was lying on the parkway grass next to a utility pole. She had jumped out of a moving vehicle and had intended to harm herself. Our public safety telecommunicators attend to many undeniably stressful situations, including matters of life and death. Wrote Brent Reynolds, Director of Glenview Public Safety, in his nomination letter, "I feel they are focused, assertive, professional, and possess the grit and endurance needed in order to perform their work in such a confident manner. They are also team players who have acknowledged that without each other that night, they might not have gotten the job done so swiftly. Police officers and firefighters typically get and deserve credit for serving and protecting their communities. But on this night, we recognize the key players behind the scene. Ladies, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you very much.
With three gorgeous ladies, it's nice to have you all up here. Would any of you like to say anything?
I'm the oldest one out of the group, so by default I get to talk. My name's Kirsten. I've been with Glenview for almost 5 years now. I just want to thank the committee for nominating us, our director Brent Reynolds, Eric Deloy, our supervisors Annie, Christy, and John Bianchi. Really, it boils down to one thing: it's teamwork, and we did it together. That's about it. Thank you.
What an ending, so typical of what they do every day. That's about it. What's next? Is Charlie Castelli here? Could you please come up? Good evening again. Hello. Good to see you. Charlie's our Youth of the Year. So you've heard of the closer in baseball. The pitcher counted on in the 9th inning to preserve his team's lead. Consider Charlie Castelli as Glenview's youth equivalent. Math teacher Mark Gallagher, who coordinates Glenbrook South's Habitat for Humanity program, calls him an awesome finisher. Whether it was the difficult task of removing an old, dilapidated roof during a summer housing project in Michigan, sweeping a Lake Michigan beach for litter, helping clean up a senior's yard, Charlie gets the job done. The common denominator in everything he does is compassion, Gallagher wrote in his nomination letter. Charlie inspires his peers through his sincere and tireless effort and approach to serving those less fortunate. Glenbrook South principal Brian Wegley called out Charlie for not only his volunteer work, but also his academic and athletic accomplishments. Charlie is captain this year of both the cross-country and track teams and is taking one of Glenbrook South's most challenging curricular paths. In all of his roles, he is an incredibly positive influence on the other students and displays outstanding citizenship, Wegley said. He makes a true difference in the Glenbrook South community and in the community at large. He's also a peer group and PE leader. That's a significant accomplishment, his counselor, Matthew Drone, points out, because through a highly competitive process, students must qualify academically, obtain nominations from their peers, faculty and staff, and pass a small group interview. Being either a peer group or PE leader is an honor, but being both is special. Drone wrote in his nomination letter, I was not surprised Charlie was selected for both positions because he is truly an outstanding young man. It is my honor to recognize this outstanding young man as the 2013 Glenview Youth of the Year. Congratulations, Charlie.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here tonight. I would like to thank the committee for nominating me for this award, recognizing me with this award. I'm highly honored to be here and honored to be representing my family, community, and my school in this way. There's no way I would be up here today without the support I've received from all three of them. I do want to specifically recognize my family for all the support they've given me all the years in pursuing my different endeavors. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for all the advice you've given me and everything you've helped me with. Also, thank you to my brother and sister, Danny and Emily, for being great siblings. I really don't know what I would do without you guys. But it was not only them. My extended family, too, really supported me in everything that I did and was always very interested in everything that I was getting involved with. I was thinking back to some of the first times I got involved in service, and it all started with my parents. My mom used to take me to OLPH to help sort food and clothes at their sharing center. And every year my family and I would go sort boxes of food for District 34's Holiday Helper. And these events really inspired me to take on some service events of my own. And in 5th grade, I had the privilege of being in Miss Melissa Evans' class when we learned about the devastating effects of malaria that are in Africa, and we decided to take action. We put up posters around the school. We made announcements in the school to help raise money for mosquito bed nets. And our modest but earnest efforts were soon recognized by the Glenview Sunrise Rotary and the Evanston National Rotary Clubs, who matched our funds. And this effort really showed me how just a small group of grade school kids could really make a difference in a community and make a difference around the world, when we ended up raising $13,000 to help buy 1,500 bed nets for children and pregnant women in Uganda. And this really ignited my passion for service and for helping others. And little did I know at that time, but Glenbrook South would really resonate with this idea of service and giving back to others. GBS has really provided me with an environment unlike any I could have created myself, or unlike any I could have experienced at another school. At GBS, Dr. Wegley, Dr. Schellert, and all the faculty have really created an environment in which students can pursue any passion they have, whether it be service, sports, academics, theater, or really anything else one can think of. During my 4 years at South, I was able to participate during 10 of the 12 athletic seasons in 4 different sports teams, and all of the coaches I had worked not only to improve me as an athlete, but also as a person, teaching me valuable life lessons. In particular, I'd like to thank the track and cross-country coaches, Mr. Hassenstein and Mr. Hilbert, who I feel very privileged to have had in my life. They've taught me the importance of hard work, setting high goals, and always giving your best effort. Also, my counselor, Mr. Drone, who's here tonight, really challenged me to take on a very rigorous course load, but never let me get in over my head so that I always had time for my other interests and I could pursue other things. Also through Glenbrook South, I was able to work with the Interact Service Club, and Mr. Gallagher, Mr. Lyon, and Mrs. Shore, who are the sponsors, really taught me the importance and stressed the importance of giving back to Glenview and gave me the opportunity to do so. So through Interact, I was able to do many events such as the annual Rotary Run, the yard cleanups in Glenview, and blood drives at Glenbrook South. Next year, I'll be studying engineering at the University of Michigan, and service is a huge part of who they are at Michigan, so I'm really excited to get involved in many service clubs there, and hopefully I'll be continue to use what I learned there to help others. I feel very fortunate to have gone to GBS and to have grown up in the caring village of Glenview. This is a community who's always supported me and who has always made me feel really safe. And once again, I'd like to thank everyone who's encouraged me, and I've specifically mentioned a few tonight, but there are many people who I've met in my daily life at Glenbrook South and in the community who have provided me with daily examples through their actions, words, and teachings of how to make a difference every day. Thank you again, and go Titans.
Very nicely done, sir. Congratulations.
What a compliment to your parents. Very nice. You know, we kind of take some of this for granted, but it is worth mentioning that everyone in this room, everyone in this community can make a recommendation and can stand behind and support and encourage someone for something that you think is outstanding. And so each year there's an opportunity to recognize people. And at this particular moment, all I want to say is thank you to those people who stood behind making these recommendations, who wrote those letters, and who supported all of these individuals. And with that, I'd like to ask Mr. Robert Anthony to please step up here. Either side, your pick. I get to read about you first.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard about the 80-20 rule? It suggests that 80% of the work is done by 20% of the people. By that measure, count Robert Anthony among the top 1% of the 20%. Bob Anthony is more than a one-issue guy, as his involvement in community affairs for more than 40 years will attest, wrote nominator William Bickley, commander of Joseph M. Sesterhern, Hen, American Legion Post 166. The list of Bob's work on behalf of Glenview organizations and clubs is a long one. Here's just a few of them. Founding member and still active board member of Youth Services of Glenview Northbrook. Past and current president of Helping Hands of Glenview. A board member for 30 years of United Way of Glenview Golf. A member of the Optimist Club. A president and board member of OLPH, Our Lady of Perpetual Help School. A leader with the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts and the National Eagle Scout Association. An active member of American Legion Post 166. Of the Legion Post's 200-plus members, I'm told that Bob is believed to be the only one to have served his country in 2 branches of the military. The Navy during World War II and the Army in the Korean conflict. Samantha Smith, the 1988 Citizen of the Year, wrote about working with Bob on volunteer committees. We could depend on Bob to take leadership roles in many of the projects and community events. Year after year, she said. Bob has always displayed the true volunteer spirit of doing what it takes to get the job done. After almost 50 years of service to the Glenview community, Bob says he's busier than ever. And we'd expect nothing less from a 20%er. Bob, congratulations. We'd like to thank you. I'll read this after, I guess.
President Patterson, village trustees of Glenview, library trustees of Glenview, fellow awardees, ladies and gentlemen. In accepting this award, I would like to include the vast number of Glenview people who are involved in so many ways in this outstanding community. I am privileged to be nominated by Commander Bill Bickley and my fellow Legionnaires of the Joseph M. Sesterhen, Post number 166, American Legion. I am grateful to others who wrote supporting letters. Looking back, it seems to me that a seed was planted in my Boy Scout days when I worked to become an Eagle Scout. The seed sprouted in World War II and Korea. What an eye-opener that was to the needs of civilization. My activity in college days at Georgetown University later continued as a member of the Alumni Board of Directors and president of the Georgetown Club of Cleveland. You all know that's in Ohio. Upon arriving in Glenview 48 years ago, I found numerous activities beckoning to me in both church and community. Scouting has always been dear to my heart, and our 4 children were Scouts. Having a Cub Scout pack for some years was very interesting. The needs of both youth and seniors were clear. 26 years ago, Samantha Smith floated an idea which really took hold and developed into an organization called Helping Hands of Glenview. Today, this group is designed to assist seniors. We continue to arrange rides for our older population to doctor's appointments or to the store or to assist in other needs. Our 65 volunteer drivers make this possible. In fall, young people from Glenbrook South church groups and scout volunteers to rake and bag leaves in the senior yards who need help. Home Depot, Ace Hardware, and Walgreens provide the bags, while group recycling picks up the bags free of charge, and I am pleased to be president of that group again this year. Optimism slogan, Friend of Youth, spoke to me. I've been working with them for many years. The Glenview Optimist Fund youth events and offers scholarships. One of our big events of the year is presenting awards to senior high school students and church youth groups. These young people are singled out for outstanding achievements in various categories. Our church, OLPH, has been a prime focus over the years. The OLPH School Board, the Men's Club, the original Adult Education Committee, and ushering at church have kept me busy. Since the United Way was funding progress for youth in Glenview, it drew my interest for 33 years. When their focus left Glenview, I felt it was time to retire. The most amazing story starts with the formation of Youth Services of Glenview, which later combined with Northbrook. In 1972, each service organization in the village was asked to send a representative to a meeting. The purpose was to develop some ideas to serve the youth of Glenview. After many months of lengthy meetings with the help of Dottie Palumbo, Executive Director of Irene Jocelyn Clinic, we finally developed a non-for-profit organization called Youth Services of Glenview. Eventually, a funding campaign, including an extremely solid donation, enabled us to hire an executive director. The village supported us by offering several different sites over the years and substantial financial assistance. In addition to their suggestions for self were very helpful. At that time, we also received funding from United Way as well as the village, in addition to our own fundraising events and any other means we could find. We really began to grow when our fifth director, Nancy Bloom, came on the scene. Name recognition, our biggest problem over the years, began to disappear. Further fundraising events build up the cash flow that has enabled us to increase our programs and our staff and youth workers. Today, Youth Services is dedicated to mental health, character development, physical well-being of both children and families in our communities. Amazingly, we have potential of 27 programs to meet these needs. In 2010, we moved from 4 trailers on West Lake provided by the village to our new magnificent building. Through Nancy Bloom's efforts, major funding was provided by McLennan Insurance and Potash Corporation. The building houses space for counseling, art, entertainment, offices, meeting rooms, a full kitchen and dining room, and a gym, full-size gym. Today, both villages of Glenview and Northbrook maintain their concrete support. There is no doubt that this agency will continue to prosper in the hands of our very capable 6th Executive Director, Amy O'Leary. Being a part of this organization over the years has been a singular experience. We don't have to look far to see opportunities to extend a hand to those less fortunate. I am thankful that I have had that chance to stand my watch. Thank you. There's the helper behind it all.
Wait, you want to go on the steps? Or you want to go on the front? The steps are over here. Oh, yeah. What a true compliment to our community. Mr. Anthony, you can tell by listening to Bob that all of these years truly add up. He's here speaking about each of these organizations that he's a part of, and you can just feel it as he sits here, and he is truly dedicated. That's what makes this community so good. And by the way, we need 100 more of Bob. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Chief Globerger.
2-2 in the third. Before we end this wonderful evening, I want to introduce everyone in the room, for those that don't know them, to all the past citizens of the year that are here with us tonight. Rosemary Heileman, 1986. Linda Kimball, 1989. Judy Lynch, 1993. Chief Don Long, 1994. Kevin Christel, 1996. Marianne Langus, 1997. Kent Fuller, 2002. Beverly Dawson, 2006. Oh. Mary Long, 2007. Ed Koenig, 2010. Lloyd Keene Jr., 2011. There's another, I'm thinking, I don't remember, oh.
Just because I'm a Sox fan.
All right, and that concludes, no. Steve Buckland, 2012. And of course, Bob Anthony, 2013. That concludes tonight's events. I thank you all for being here on this wonderful evening. Please drive safely, and we'll see you all next year.